Looks good. Okay, Brad, why don't you stay on? I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 7:32. In attendance is, Rich Prendergast, Dmitry Tolchinsky, Tolchinsky, yeah, Tolchinsky. John Frick and Dennis Maluso, Steve Tsunami, and on line is Brad Yerkes. Thank you for attending, Brad.
Thank you.
First order on the agenda is approval of the minutes of May 14th, 2004. Did anyone have a chance to review those?
Yes.
I did,
Any comments?
yes.
Yeah.
There is and it might have been, misunderstood because there's no recording. But, there was a motion made that the subcommittee for finance become, or I shouldn't, say whatever,
Not finance.
or,
Your committee.
no.
She wrote in.
Yeah, it was our committee and it should have been
Correct.
finance.
Correct.
And that I'd like to have the minutes reflect the proper.
Yeah. So, did you have to make a motion for that, Rich?
You, the procedure is motion to accept the minutes, a second discussion. If you, in the discussion, you want to amend the minutes, you'd have this discussion. It goes down in these minutes, but the previous minutes were changed.
Yeah.
Because we have 24 hours or 48 hours to produce the minutes, so we don't have time to go back in time to.
Right. Actually, I've read the requirements, and I'm gonna discuss that. So I agree with Dennis wholeheartly. Richard's motion was to disband the invoice subcommittee and not,
Invoice subcommittee.
and not the, alternate sewer subcommittee. So I agree with that. Does anyone else have any comments on that?
So the motion would be something like as amended.
As amended, right. Well, now it is, all those in favor. Any other comments on the minutes?
Well, first, ask for motion. You asked it. I'll second it. We had the discussion.
Right, and now it's a really,
As
now,
amended.
right, as amended, right.
And then we vote.
So let's have someone make a motion to accept minutes as amended.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as amended.
Second. All right, all in favor, say aye. All against? Okay, let the record show Brad Yerkes, agrees, so it passes unanimously, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0. At this time, I would like to swear in John Frick as a voting member, or Flick. F-L-I-C-K. Flick, as a, voting member, for tonight's meeting. Andrea called, she said she couldn't make it, but included in your packet, is a budget update. And, basically, it's the same as last month, except we spent $93 on clerk's fees. Does anyone have any questions on this?
I don't,
You don't have the budget?
okay.
I'm gonna take another packet.
Oh, okay.
This is a printout. This is, you can have that.
Oh, yeah, okay, thank you.
We spent, we have 61.93% of our budget left. That will certainly take us through the end of this fiscal year, which is in about 20 days, 19 days. I don't anticipate any large legal fees or anything else, really. Any questions? All right.
No questions.
On to the next item. The carryover status. So, Andrea has until July 11th to request our carryover status. Some of these numbers that we haven't used in this year's budget are going to be carried over into next year's budget, per the request of, town finance department. They do that because people have already been taxed on this money. And they don't, so if there's money left over, they'd rather use this in the next year's budgets to control. So, she'll get that out before the end of the month. She has promised me, so we should be in good shape there. The finance department will accept it because they requested that we do that, so that shouldn't be a problem. Any questions on that?
And that covers anything we've talked about recently or?
Yeah, so what we're gonna carry it over into certain line items.
Okay.
And then we're gonna spend that.
All right,
Once it's approved for a certain category, you can't
Right.
change it unless you
right.
request a change.
We've got some things we're working on that we haven't got, it's gonna go down the road that's covered.
Yes, yeah, everything that we have
All right.
working on is, I hope. No, everything that I can foresee has been covered. All right, chairman's report. So, the IAMA status with New London. In my report, in the chairman's report, that is why we're gonna go into executive session, but in general, Oline, the beach associations in New London have reached agreement on terms and will be executing a contract within the next month, as long as we, the Oline WPCA, agree to the terms that will be discussed in the executive session. Drawing status. I received 90% drawings yesterday via email from Jason. I requested a paper copy as well for review by the WPCA. They'll be here at the town hall. You can pick up, no, in the first selectman's
Our
office.
selectman's clerk office.
And you can, when we receive them,
Borrow them for a day or?
you can sign them out and review them for as long as you want.
Or,
If someone else, you sign them out,
okay,
and if someone else wants them,
they will call me and.
well, they'll either call you or call me, or
The clerk will call you.
someone will contact you and say you've
Yeah,
had.
but, I think for a day, you know.
No, I mean, I had the last set.
How many
I
drawings?
think I still have the last set.
How many drawings?
I'm sorry?
How many drawings?
There's one, we're getting one copy.
One
Make it
copy,
to-
but it's a pretty thick.
There's probably,
Lot of layers.
28 pages or so.
Oh, I see. Then I need more than a day.
Yeah, I would think. I probably don't, I reviewed the 60% and gave my comments to Jason. Like I said, they had already incorporated some of them, so I'm just gonna review the
I
changes.
might will stop tomorrow and pick it up.
They're not there yet.
Oh,
No, I'll send an email out telling people that they're available.
You getting them printed?
Yeah. The specifications should be ready by the end of this week. So we have the drawings, but the specs aren't done yet. They had someone on
The
vacation.
drawings will be already completed?
The drawings will be 90% complete.
90%.
Yes, they'll go through one more review from us. And then if there are no comments, then they're 100%. There may be
What
minor.
will they keep on 10%? What kind of,
I'm sorry?
what would be kept for 10%?
Okay, so it's not, the drawings are 100%.
Okay.
They're considered 90% because there may be comments added to them.
Correction could be.
Yeah, it's not like they did 90% of the drawings in a way.
All right.
So, per Rich's, request a couple of months ago, I did call up Carlos Esquera. He did say he did want to review the 90%. So he's going to get a 90%. And that's why the specs, he needs the specs also.
Yeah.
So, he's going to get sent those, via email by the end of this week. And, it helps us because he'll review the 90%. He'll have almost 3 months to review basically the same set of drawings and specs. So instead of getting 100% and having a month. So, I don't expect there'll be many problems. He's been involved in this process and, you know, our sewers are pretty straightforward. O-Lime and the beach associations are close to completing the final balance of what O-Lime owes for the outstanding balance to the shared infrastructure. And after that, after the beaches receive payment for the balance, O-Lime will enter into an equal voting partner in the CSA. So the CSA is the governing document for the shared infrastructure that the beach associations and us share. It includes a redesigned trunk for the beaches as a collection trunk for all four associations or WPCAs, the line leading into the pump station and everything after the pump station, including the bioxide. We have a document that we all agreed to years ago about how O-Line becomes a full voting member once July 1st passes. Maybe it's probably now July 11th. We have to have a carry forward. But sometime in July, we'll be signing that and handing out checks to the other beach associations to bring us even with the amount of money they've expended. And then we're going from there. Does anyone have questions on that?
Where does that money come from?
That money,
Clean water fund?
no. Well, no. That money, so a lot of this is unreimbursable expenses in any event. Right now, the town is funding that. It's coming out of our budget, our yearly budget. That's what one of the carry forwards is being used for. In the future, I don't know,
It would come, in the future, it would come
Oh.
from, if I may,
792, are they on? Does 860-794-7480, can you hear us?
Yes, this is Mary. Can you hear me? Because I tried to dial
Yes.
in through Teams and just me and Erica are on Teams right now.
Okay, well, we can certainly hear you. Is anyone else on Teams? I mean, we're on Teams.
Well, the Teams that you put out in the agenda, that meeting is only myself and Erica right now. So I'm not sure, but I can hear you on my phone.
Yeah, all right, so, okay, I'm sorry again for the confusion, Mary. They tell me to hit join. That's all I can tell you. They tell me to hit join, I
Of
hit
course,
join.
of course,
I'm
Steve.
curious,
Ryan
how
and
did you-
Erica
which-
did.
did you go to the website or did you go to the email to
No.
get to this?
I went to the email that you sent out with the revised agenda, clicked on Teams, put me in the waiting room. Eventually Erica got on, and I can still see it now. Erica and I are the two people on that meeting. But I can hear you on the phone, so
Then you,
I'm not sure
then you
Erica
called,
did.
you called in, to us. I don't have my phone here or else I would text.
I called in
Well,
because I couldn't connect.
I'm
Well,
going, so,
I'm on. This is Brad. I'm on
Brad.
Teams.
Brad, how did you get it?
I cut and paste the link and I put in the browser and
Okay.
hit click and then it was the link website.
Okay,
I think Erica
All right.
just said she can't record it because she's on a different meeting. I don't know. Something is going on.
yeah,
with the recording.
she'll have to review the recording then.
This
I-
is recording. See the recording button.
Right. So Brad, you cut and pasted off the agenda, correct?
Yes, the last one you gave out, because you gave an updated agenda.
Yes, okay, all right. So
Mhm.
I don't know why some people can get it and some can't. Okay,
Okay.
so, to recap, we went over the budget, we spent $93. I will, swear Mary in as a voting member today. So, well, I actually don't we have a quorum, but that's all right. We have, we're gonna discuss the terms of the IMA in executive session. We've gotten 90% drawings. They've been forwarded to me by email. A paper copy and the specs should be on their way to us and Carlos at DEP by the end of the week. O-Line and the beach associations are pretty close to completing the final balance of what O-Line owes for membership into the CSA. Those are unreimbursed expenses that have come out of pocket by the three beach associations. O-Line, as part of the CSA, has to make them whole before becoming a full member. All right, so the state DOT is redoing two bridges on 156 on our that also would contain our force main going down to East Line. BL Engineering has contacted Hudson O'Neill and us for coordination. We've had several meetings with them to go over design and responsibility of who is going to install a force main. There's problems with contractors going into the limits of other contractors. As it turns out, we are not going to be installing that portion of the force main. Their state contractor will. So we're coordinating endpoints. The big problem here, or the bigger thing, is the larger bridge, which I believe is down past Montessori's there. Or maybe, well, the larger bridge is being moved quite a bit. And so there's like 3,000 feet of pipe that's not going to be installed by us. The whole road is shifting into property now that people have, and there's not a way of us going in there prior to them installing. Hudson O'Neill feels that we would probably get a better price from the bridge contractor because all the road work, the base work, and Point of Woods line is also being relocated. So they're digging and prepping everything in any event. So we may actually get a better price because we don't have to pay for the paving. That's part of their other contract. We'll see. We don't really have much of a choice. The DOT said they won't issue us a permit to put the
Point of Woods bear any cost in that also?
So, they most likely will. So the DOT says they pay 100% of the relocation, less depreciation. So if we got ours in last year, they would pay 100% to redesign it, move it. We don't have it in at all, and we don't have a permit. Well, I think we had a permit, but expired. So, and they're not issuing another one. So we do have to redesign in order to get the permit. The gentleman said, basically, I'm not issuing you a permit so you can rush this in and then have us pay 100% to move it. So, I mean, it makes sense. I don't want to waste taxpayer money. It's just another little glitch. I don't know how much Point of Woods will have to pay, if anything. I know, well, East Line's engineer told me that they took over that line from East Line, from at the border of East Line and Old Line,
At the bottom of the hill,
wherever the border is.
near the pump station.
Well, where's the border between Old Line and East Line? Right, that is the border, right? So, I mean, yeah, Point of Woods probably is gonna have to pay for something. I don't know. I know it has to be, they're gonna hang it probably too. As I said, Andrea is working on carry forwards for next fiscal year. The Board of Selectmen, have requested that I give them a brief presentation on July 17th, outlining project status and financials. Martha asked for this because due to the CWF funding where they're giving us a forgivable loan, the way the state went about it to get it as a forgivable loan is kind of convoluted. They gave us, so they broke the shared infrastructure into another project. So there's 4 WPCA's, 5 projects. They're funding everyone's project 50%. So the forgivable loan part is like 19,900 something thousand with a 10% contingency. That'll be distributed for the CSA. That's why it's important to have the CSA. Old Line will get 29.7% of that money. Of that money, 50% will be forgiven by either a forgivable loan or grant. And then 50% is being paid for. On the converse side, our original CWF funding for the project is also being funded 25% grant and 25% forgivable loan. So take it all together, whatever Old Lyme is entitled to will be halved. We would actually incur a final loan of 50% of whatever we borrow. And because the numbers have changed by the way they've written it up, Martha would like a little more explanation. So I got to do a spreadsheet. Are there any questions on that?
Yeah, just
Sure.
try to understand. So there's a cost and there's forgivable loans. So what do we think the net forgivable net? I'm not gonna say a dollar amount. It's a percentage.
Well, the net is 50%. Whatever we borrow, we'll be responsible for 50%.
So maybe this is
If I have to spend 100, what do I think we're gonna get?
you'll
We'll take a loan out for 50. We'll take a loan out for $50. If you spent $100, yeah, state gives us the money. Let's say they give us $9 million. When we go to fund it, they forgive the 25%.
What's left?
So the original was, the referendum was 9.5 million.
Right.
With 25% grant that we don't have to pay back.
Right.
We brought it down for applicable things, so it's not pure math. It was 7.44 million. And now we're talking about rebidding and then getting additional,
All right.
our percent of it might lower that down. 15 million of our percent, but it's the shared infrastructure. So we might end up, maybe instead of 7.4, maybe 5 or 6 million. But we don't want to publicly go out and say what the number is until we sharpen.
I'm just looking at
pencils and go.
percentage.
So this is what I think is going to happen. Since all these things were bid a couple of years ago, what I think is we're going to get another 25%, let's call it a grant or forgivable loan, whatever you want. Our costs may go up 10% or 15%
Right.
from before. So we're still ahead 10%. So we're still ahead 10%. That presentation, I'll present it to the board, but I'll also probably present it to us, as far as what the raw numbers are. It's gonna have to go to either a town hall meeting for approval, we have to get authorization to spend more money, even though it's gonna cost us less.
I have a question.
Sure.
I thought we didn't have to do that because we
Mike-
didn't go over our referendum, but so I guess you're
Mike, it's,
planning for the possibility.
Martha is, we have a meeting. Martha, Mike, Anita, and myself have a meeting to go over that, exactly that. Mike's called her up and said, it either has to go to town, it's probably just a town hall meeting to authorize, it's to authorize no matter what, you're taking on, even though they're gonna forgive it, you're taking on it's like the 9.5 million.
Well, the thing I was wondering about is if we don't incur that debt and like the beach associations build a section, a shared section, and then they give us our share after it's built.
So the way the state has written this up,
Yeah.
we have to sign for our percentage of
Okay.
the additional money. That's the problem.
That's exactly opposite of what they said
Yeah,
originally.
no kidding.
And that's for me, just reading contracts. we gotta watch out for stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
thank you.
it's
That's
the,
all.
the bond, I mean, I don't have the bond documents. Mike does, our attorney.
Yes.
You know, once it's vetted, I would imagine it can be, you know, looked at. It's a public document.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Uh, Oh, and then the final thing is O-Line and the beach associations anticipate bidding all the projects by late fall this year. And so, if it's bid late fall this year, theoretically, it could start next spring. Not, well, early next spring, maybe February, March. If it's bid in October, it could start earlier, but usually you have to wait.
Well, Steve, how's that look? I mean,
30
you're in the
days.
business. What's going on in construction and road construction and bidding and?
People are bidding. I mean, there's work out there. People are bidding, jobs. I don't think we'll have a problem finding a bidder.
It's not crazy, material costs
It's
anymore, is it?
right. So material, actually, some of the material like PVCs come down, which is a good thing because most of our stuff is PVC. Labor costs haven't come down, fuel costs, equipment costs, all those have stayed up, but material costs some of it has come down and none of it has really appreciably gone up in the past.
I'm getting more about,
Like stability.
no, I'm in the business, transportation, crane, digging, it's not going down.
No, it's not gonna go back down. The prices are here to stay. I think the state recognized
But
that.
I was referring to, like, it seemed like there was a question mark if you could get the materials.
Material
So they
availability,
did like a whole wild ass extra.
so material availability is available. I mean, you still, like, I'm running a job in Griswold and I have a 2-week lead time to get PVC pipe. It used to be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be, I don't know when I could get it. Now they're making it and stuff. It's just, it's not over.
I'm on the other side, I'm on transportation and crane stuff. Who cares about PVC? It's getting cranes and getting operators.
Yeah, no,
Bringing stuff in.
that's not, I don't believe that's a problem here.
All right. Good.
Okay, question for you.
Yes.
Is this because there's state money involved? Is this a prevailing wage job?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we're looking at not a plumber, but a super plumber.
Well,
So
no,
instead of like $100 an hour, it could be 200.
nope. No, that's not true at all.
It is more expensive, but
It's a lot.
It's not. No, it's not. So we would have to pay probably an operator 7 total with benefits and everything. We don't have to pay him at all. It's the contractor. Probably around $80 an hour. A laborer, probably around 50. A plumber doesn't go up. It's not a household plumber. They have to pay him, but it's not $100. Now, the guys, so when you hire a plumber, he's charging his markup on his labor. He's not paying this guy $200 or $150. He's paying him probably 40, if that. You know, I know what the plumbers that worked on my last job were getting paid, and they're not getting paid $200 an hour, that's for sure. So prevailing wage is based on a formula that they use on state union wages. So we're not paying any more than union wages. It's updated every July 1st.
You see my eye? And,
but it's
and
not the
union wages are based on, guess what?
Negotiated contracts.
The rate is now $15 an hour for a kid to serve a cold cup of coffee in Dunkin' Donuts. That's what drives the union's wages up.
Yeah, it's nothing we can worry, you know, it's like, we get this funding money, we have to do this. And it's a topic that's come up many times. And the idea, we've asked the state, can we not do that? And they said, you can't get the
You
money.
can't get the money. Any federal money.
Yeah, So it's one of those things that's.
It's part of this business. It's not like this is the only project. Any federal project, any work that you see going on out in the public, in municipal, state, or federal, is a paid prevailing rate. Believe me, I didn't like it. Are there any other questions, from Brad or Mary on the chairman's report?
I do, as much as I can understand what's going on here. I just have a question. There's a lot of information you're putting out there right now today. So I'm just wondering if anybody on this WPCA had already seen either the New London IMA before we go to executive session, or the terms of the forgivable loan?
I have from him, this is Rich Prendergast. I have from his historical reference, because I used to try to argue with New London. So I knew the direction was going, but I didn't see this before. And I think.
I don't think you've seen it at all.
I didn't see, I know what the details are to some degree, but not till I walked into this meeting. And I think that's
Okay.
on purpose.
Correct.
Okay,
It's
I'm
on
just
purpose.
wondering, because it sort of sounded like, everyone's already agreed to the NL agreement, and I'm wondering who everybody is. I think, Steve, you said that in one of your emails.
So let's,
I'm wondering who is
Mary,
that?
Mary,
Who is everybody?
Mary,
Mhm.
Mary,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about this in executive session.
Oh, I don't know if
We can't, we're not doing executive session online.
we're right.
So I can answer your question. When I mean everyone, I mean everyone. Everyone has agreed to the terms set forth to New London. We have to authorize the terms, but we all agreed to the terms of our counter offer to New London.
So you define everyone is,
Everyone as the three beach associations and me as the old line chairman representative agreed to counter offer a certain number, and then this is the process. If they accept it, then we go to executive session, we discuss the counter offer and make sure that everyone on this committee approves it before we enter into contract.
okay,
That's
that's what
how,
I'm
that's how
asking.
that works. Okay. All right, so at this point, we're gonna go into executive is there any public comment? I think that's, Erica.
So when you go into an executive session, how can I get into that? How, can you email me how to access that? Because I can't log on to your,
So
I don't
we
know. why I
could
can't
call,
get into this thing.
we could shut this off.
Okay.
All right.
What's the number?
I didn't bring it.
We have your number. We'll call you.
Wait, I don't have it. Do you
Well, it's
have
up
it?
there.
Yeah, I just, that's her number.
All right, someone will call you, okay? Brad,
Okay.
do you want to be called on this too? I would imagine you do.
No, I'm already in right now, so should.
Yeah, but
fine, or do
I
have
have-
to do it?
I have to shut this meeting down because it's executive session.
Okay, so was it a different meeting, or I just have to get back into this one?
No, you don't come back into this because I don't want the public.
Do you have Brad's number?
Yeah, I'd have to go out. Yes, all right, well, we're gonna go into a motion go into executive session.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh, wait,
I still have a report.
oh, that's right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, there's, old business, under old business, CWF construction application.
Rich, Brad, I'm gonna send you an email and ask you to send me your phone back while I do this, okay?
Okay, cool.
That's all right, okay. I can run out to my truck and get it, my phone.
Okay, so what I wanted to do is quickly about the Clean Water Fund application. I had one question to legal, recently, and I hold back on asking questions to legal till I can go other places to try to get the answer. So I didn't generate any expenses, any long discussions with legal. It's just one question. And the question was, does our municipal council provide a certificate or a statement that we've bought all the property for our project? we're not buying any property for our project. The cost sharing agreement with the beach associations have purchased property and they have a lease for some other property, the biotoxic state and the pump station. So they're handling that. And part of our application is we need this letter. So I haven't got a response yet, which is understandable. The other things I want to say is, we need the design approval before we can submit the construction application. Kind of makes sense. We can submit it draft and get feedback from the head contact that we do with the state. And what my experience in the past is, as I submit, I get new ideas or questions or issues and, come back and edit it, and it's back and forth for a while. I have not submitted any application. The plan is I'm going to draft it and then discuss it with Steve, depending on what it is. We may share it, we may not. What else? We have this thing about, chose the finance director for the town. There's a person that I have to list, and I wasn't sure if it was Andrea as our our treasurer, but it's more appropriate to do the finance director because it's money going into the town's bank account and they need that person's phone number to do that. We required a deep approval letter. And we have one. I just happened to have forgotten about it. It was part of the original wastewater management plan that we got a letter from the state saying, okay, we agree with your plan, now do it. So I'm going to use that. There's a request for the deep to say what our charge system is, how much we're going to charge or how we're going to charge. And the wastewater plan on pages 51 through 58 describe our plan. I'm going to suggest we use that, even though the numbers are probably going to change based on this $15 million grant. And we haven't gone out to bid. It's a system of what you're going to charge. So it has itemized from the point of view of collection, construction, design, and it's a letter that we have already. It's separate from, we have blocks to fill in what we're asking money for. So we're going to be asking for money on the Soundview collection pipes only, the design and our legal. Separate from that application, we may or may not have to do it. I don't think we'll have to do it with the shared pump station. So they have an application going forward that includes us, but they're filling it out.
They mean O'Connell.
Yeah, the other beach associations. And there was one other, nope, that was it. So I've got other action items I'm ticking away and going through, and I'm taking files that I can use to support this and putting it into place. And then so I'll have, and I'm showing if you can't see it, the Clean Water Fund application starting. It's not that big, but it's referencing a bunch of things that you click on, and then you fill in blocks, and then you attach documents, and you submit it, and you hold your breath, and they come back and ask questions. The timing of this, the design has to be done, and we can't submit it for approval until 60 days before we go out to bid for the construction. But what I hope to do is have this ready to go and all done. And then when we ever figure out when we're going to go to design, we just say, look, it's tweaked or whatever.
Okay.
It has to go through a bunch of signatures with the first selectman, the clerk, the town's finance, the treasurer. We'll do all that at the last submittal. So that's it. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I'll be happy to try to answer them.
That's a lot.
Yeah, Rich, I appreciate your taking that on, because I know
Well,
I have
I'll say
less and less patience for that type of.
Wood and Kern has been helpful. Laura Tessier, I can't do enough to say how good she is of grant writing and figuring stuff out. And she's experienced in Massachusetts and New York, not so much in Connecticut, but she knows what to ask. And she's been helpful. So, and she's not charging us So it's part of the thing that
Part of
we,
there.
part of the thing that they agreed to it. And I'm careful what I ask her to do.
So, now at this point, are we all set?
Yeah, that's all, unless there's a question.
Thank you.
I'm ready to go to public comment or.
Public comment? Is there any public comment?
Steve, it's Erica.
Um,
Steve, are you gonna come back to this line after executive session?
No, Erica, we're all done. The only thing that we'll be doing is, voting on a motion to accept the New London IMA, and I'll let you know the results of that.
You have to come back though.
Close out the
I
Yeah,
think
I
you have to make that
Mm.
public.
It'll be in the
So-
minutes. I was told by Martha that I didn't have to come back in.
Well,
Okay,
It'll be made public in the minutes. It'll be made public in the minutes to this meeting. But that's the last thing we're gonna do and then adjourn.
you technically can go to executive session and you can vote. We've had a historical thing that we never voted in executive session. You'll come out of executive session and have a meeting. And if there's a vote, we vote, and then you do a motion to dismiss, to close the meeting. Because they're like on hold while we're in executive session. We could mute them.
Can we
okay.
mute
So
them?
if someone
Yeah.
could just let me
Yeah.
know who makes the
I'll do that.
motion and the
Yes,
same
sir.
thing with the
I'll
adjournment. so that
send
we
I'll send you an email tonight. Okay?
can- Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.